Good evening, college football fans, and Happy New Year. We are broadcasting to you live from our Arlington studio today as we are back here in Arlington for the holidays, and Happy New Year to you all. As I said again, it is New Year's Eve, and we are about halfway through the college football bowl season, so let's double check on all these bowl games that we had. We started off the bowl season with the New Mexico Bowl between BYU and UTEP. BYU takes this one 52-24. In the U Drove Humanitarian Bowl in Boise, Idaho, Northern Illinois tops Fresno State 40-17. In the R.L. Carrier New Orleans Bowl, played in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the Superdome, Troy beats Ohio 48-21. And the first really close game that we had of the year was the Beef O'Brady Bowl in St. Petersburg between Louisville and Southern Mississippi. This is a game where Southern Mississippi actually led 21-7 at one point. However, a 95-yard kick return by Jeremy Wright for Louisville tied it up, and then a 35-yard field goal with 6:30 left in the fourth put Louisville up. They would ultimately win by the final margin of 31-28. In the Mako Las Vegas Bowl between Boise State, not getting to play in that BCS Bowl, but they're still playing a ranked opponent in Utah. Utah scores the first 3 points, but then Boise State does the rest. They shut them out the rest of the game as they go on to win 26-3 in the Mako Bowl in Las Vegas. Now the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl was looking like it might not be played as the field had almost 2 feet of water on it just 24 hours before the game was played. The parking lot was flooded. However, they got the field cleared. The conditions were good as we saw San Diego State play Navy, and San Diego State gets away with a win here. They win 35-14. Now in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, you had Tulsa matched up against Hawaii. Hawaii was actually the visiting team, even though they were playing in their home stadium in Honolulu, Hawaii. Tulsa runs away with this one 62-35. Now another interesting matchup that a lot of people probably missed because it wasn't two big name teams was Toledo versus Florida International. Now Florida International is a program that has struggled a lot. Very good to see them in a bowl game, their first bowl appearance in the football subdivision. Toledo led this game 24-7 with 9:44 left in the third quarter. However, FIU storms back. They go up 31-24 with 3:18 left in the fourth. Toledo manufactures a drive and scores with 1:14 left. Then a really gutsy call by their coach as he goes for two. They convert and go up 32-31. All they have to do is play defense and not let Florida International score. So they have them down. It is a 4th and 17 for Florida International on their drive. A crazy hook and ladder where the receiver barely catches the football, hooks it, and then the receiver barely makes it around. They review it. However, they convert on the 4th and 17, drive down, and then kick a 34-yard game-winning field goal as time expires. This is Florida International's first bowl win, so a great job by them. Air Force played Georgia Tech in the Advocare V100 Independence Bowl. Really low scoring for these two option offenses as Air Force wins 14-7. In the Champs Sports Bowl, you had North Carolina State topping West Virginia 23-7. And in the Inside Bowl, you had Iowa, who was on fire heading about midway through the season, then really struggled down the stretch. They had a way of losing games late. However, against Missouri, they found a way to win one late as they intercept Blaine Gabbert for a 72-yard INT return for a touchdown with 5:32 left, managed to hold on. Blaine Gabbert had a fantastic day. He went 41 of 57 for 434 yards. However, he only threw one touchdown and did have 2 interceptions, including the one that ultimately lost it for Missouri as Missouri falls to Iowa 27-24. Now in the Military Bowl, it featured Maryland and East Carolina. As we all know, Maryland coach Ralph Friedgen was kind of run out by Maryland. He will be replaced for next season. Now, even though he was named the ACC Coach of the Year, so what does he do? He goes out and Maryland scores its most points it has ever scored in a bowl game as they beat East Carolina 51-20. The Texas Bowl that was played in Reliant Stadium in Houston featured Illinois and Baylor, and this was a game that was all Illinois as they go on to win 38-14, and played later on in the evening. The Valero Alamo Bowl in San Antonio, Texas featured Oklahoma State, who had those 2 disappointing losses, did not have a chance to play in the Big 12 championship game. However, they take care of business in their bowl. They win 36-10 over Arizona. The Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl featured Army and SMU played in Dallas at SMU's home stadium. SMU was down 16-0 at one point. They managed to come back in the third and fourth quarter. However, it is not enough as Army holds on and wins 16-14. Now, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl was played in the Bronx, New York. It was played in Yankee Stadium. This is the first ever Pinstripe Bowl, and it will be remembered as it was a very back-and-forth game. We saw trick plays, flea flickers, great runs, very good offensive game. However, Kansas State is down to Syracuse by 8. They managed to score a touchdown with 1:13 left in the fourth quarter. However, Adrian Hilburn, the receiver who runs it into the end zone, at the back of the end zone gives a small salute. After he scores his touchdown, he is flagged for a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So instead of going for it at the 2-yard line for the 2-point conversion that Kansas State needs to tie the ballgame up and potentially send it into overtime, they are forced back to the 17-yard line. And I don't know about you, but the percentages up there from the 17-yard line for converting 2-point conversions does not seem very good. They do not get it. And Syracuse goes on to beat Kansas State 36-24. Another very interesting finish was between UNC and Tennessee in the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. This is a game where UNC is driving down the field. They complete a pass to about the 50-yard line. However, their receiver is spearheaded in the back. This puts them within field goal range with about 40 seconds left. However, UNC opts to run the football. They get down with about 16 seconds left, and personnel is running all around on the field. Nobody knows what's going on. They finally managed to spike the ball with 1 second left, but they had about 16 guys on the field. It is only a 5-yard penalty. After Tennessee thinks that they have won the game, they are forced to come back and defend it as UNC kicks the game-time field goal that sends it into overtime. Now, this game would go to double overtime, and in the second overtime, you would have Tyler Bray, the true freshman, throw an interception for Tennessee. That sets up a 23-yard game-winning field goal for North Carolina as they go on to win 30-27. And in a rematch we saw earlier this year, you had in the Holiday Bowl, Nebraska playing Washington. Now, this is a game that I picked Nebraska to absolutely blow Washington out of the water, as they did earlier on September 18th in this season whenever they won 56-21. However, that would not be the case as Nebraska stumbled, losing their last 3 games of the season to Texas A&M, OU, and now to Washington. They fall 19-7. This is a day where Jake Locker goes 5 of 16 for 56 yards, but beat them on the ground with his legs. He went for 83 yards and 1 touchdown of 25 yards on the ground, so a great day for him. Now, a couple of bowl games that are just wrapping up right now with live action. South Florida beats Clemson 31-26, and Notre Dame beats Miami in the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas, 33-17. And right now, there's about 12:30 left in the fourth quarter as UCF and Georgia are held at a score of UFC 3, Georgia 6. We will see how this game wraps up shortly. We have one more game tonight that features South Carolina playing ACC champion, or ACC loser, Florida State. And then tomorrow, New Year's Day, you have 6 bowl games being played, including 3 that are matchups between the Big Ten and the SEC, and all 3 of them are being played in the state of Florida. Very interesting note. So tomorrow is really a gut check between the SEC and the Big Ten. You have Penn State playing Florida in the Outback Bowl. You have Alabama playing Michigan State in the Capital One Bowl. And in the Progressive Gator Bowl, you have Mississippi State playing Michigan. The other games tomorrow are in the Ticket City Bowl in Dallas, Northwestern versus Texas Tech. And then you have the Rose Bowl where you have Wisconsin playing TCU, and the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl featuring Oklahoma and UConn. And we will finish up the bowl season with a couple of more BCS bowl games. In the Orange Bowl, you have Virginia Tech playing Stanford. In the Sugar Bowl, you have Ohio State playing Arkansas. A lot swirling around that game as you have the 5 Ohio State players who were not suspended playing in that game, but all 5 of them have given Jim Tressel their word that they are coming back next season. You have the AT&T Cotton Bowl being played in Dallas Cowboy Stadium here in Arlington, Texas on January 7th between LSU and Texas A&M, and it all wraps up with the Tostitos BCS Championship game between Auburn and Oregon. Heisman Trophy winner Cam Newton will try and break what used to be the Heisman curse, keep up with Mark Ingram, and win a national championship this year. We will see how it all pans out. Until then, I'm